A sanctuary showdown between the DOJ and California. Sessions Department issuing an ultimatum to the Golden State. Drop your sanctuary status or risk losing millions of dollars in federal funding. Here to react is former Trump Hispanic Advisory Council member and Fox News contributor, Mr. Steve Cortes. Hey, Steve, good to see you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So you're welcome. So why is Governor Jerry Brown, the governor of California, why is he blatantly disregarding federal law?
Right. Well, he's grandstanding, and he reminds me, Governor Bruce Rauner here in Illinois, Mayor Rahm Emanuel here in Chicago. These politicians really remind me a lot of the Southern governors in the 1950s and 1960s who flouted federal civil rights laws. And President Eisenhower and President Kennedy had to intervene. In this case, President Trump and Attorney General Sessions have to intervene. Look, Ainsley, ICE already has a tough job dealing with transnational gangs like MS-13 that are terrorizing parts of America. They don't need additional obstacles put in their way by governors and mayors. What they need is cooperation from local police. The cops want to help them, of course. They want safer streets. So people like Governor Brown are simply grandstanding for their own narrow political agenda.
So obviously you agree with Jeff Sessions, but my question is, I feel like this is continuing. The federal government continues to threaten California and nothing's happening. When will something actually happen? When will they take action on this?
Well, I think the power of the purse strings. That's when this is finally going to when the rubber will hit the road.
It's not happening.
No, I know, and it has to happen. I agree, and I'm a bit frustrated, as it sounds like maybe you are as well, that it hasn't already happened, and it needs to. Cities like Chicago, New York City, Mayor de Blasio, states like California, who are flouting federal law, who are endangering their own citizens with this reckless policy. Sometimes political correctness isn't just dumb; it can be deadly, and it is in the case of sanctuary cities. I agree with you. We need to take action. I think the Attorney General is doing that, but the sooner the better.
The frustration comes from interviewing these families, interviewing Kate Steinle's family, and seeing their just their sadness and their grief. And these are American citizens, and I feel like they're putting people who aren't citizens above the people who are tax-paying citizens here in this country. Let's move on to another topic. The Latino Victory Fund released an ad depicting supporters of the GOP candidate for the state of Virginia, for the governor, Ed Gillespie, as racist, as Confederacy supporting racist murderers who attack minority kids. Watch this ad that was put out by the Latino Victory Fund on Monday, and then we'll get your reaction.
Is this what Donald Trump and Ed Gillespie mean by the American dream?
Steve, what was your reaction to that?
Ainsley, it's hard to even watch it, quite frankly. I mean, this is race-baiting identity politics at its despicable worst. They tried this, by the way, in 2016. They tried to constantly say that we who supported Donald Trump were somehow racist. They're trying it now again with Ed Gillespie. I will tell you this, as an immigrant son and as an Hispanic, I believe the Democratic Party has taken minorities for granted for decades. And I think people like Ed Gillespie and Donald Trump have policy visions which will enhance and improve the lives of people of color. So let's stop with the race baiting and identity politics. This is called the Latino Victory Fund. This is not victory for Latinos. It's run, of course, by a Hillary Clinton alum. It's reportedly funded by George Soros, someone who I think has done more, sadly, than any other American to poison our politics. We need to rise above this. I think, though, that thankfully, paradoxically, it's actually going to work the other way. It certainly has already brought a lot of good attention to Ed Gillespie. It's increased donations. So I think people are going to react against this. They know that you're not some sort of racist inbred person just because you happen to support the Republican policies of Ed Gillespie, which, by the way, major issue there, back to our last topic, sanctuary cities.
Yeah, it could. You're right. It could backfire. We saw that with Hillary Clinton when she called Trump supporters deplorables. How about the media's reaction? Why didn't the Hispanic networks, they did not cover this? Telemundo, 0 minutes to that. Univision, 0 minutes to that. And then look at the mainstream media. MSNBC did spend 28 seconds on it, but really did not get much coverage. Why do you think that is?
Right, and not only didn't cover it as a news item, Ainsley, but also showed the ad, which I don't think they should have. I think a responsible network would say this kind of ad shouldn't even be shown. I mean,
we showed
Gillespie
the ad,
voters. Well, right, but I'm saying showed it as a paid advertisement.
As
is what
an
I mean.
advertisement.
You know what I mean? Right, as a paid advertisement.
Yeah.
So I think that it's irresponsible in two ways. But look, unfortunately, and the Hispanic community in America has been really ill-served by Spanish-speaking media. They've been incredibly biased. They haven't been journalists. People like Jorge Ramos are not journalists. They are opposition advocates of the Trump administration, and they at times don't even pretend otherwise. So I think they've done a real disservice. And my hope would be that a lot more Hispanics are going to watch Fox News.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Steve Cortes. They did pull that ad, I might add. All right. Coming up next on the